The Pan-South African Language Board, which in conjunction with the African Language Association of Southern Africa and the University of Fort Hare are hosting a language conference this weekend. It aims to promote research, language development and effective verbal and written communication in multilingual society. For more on this, I'm joined by the Pan-South African Language Board CEO, Lance Schultz. Lance, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Why is this conference so important and what will the highlights be?
Firstly, a very good morning to you, and hope you have a wonderful Heritage Day to you and your audience. I believe this conference is going to be quite significant and important in that what we are wanting to address is to have a look at how we can decolonize language, taking cognizance of our history, and also taking account of where the world is going in terms of the fourth industrial revolution. We understand that that is predicated on how do we build multimodal communication systems and how we can integrate that to ensure that we preserve, protect and promote our language, which is core to the mandate of the Pan-South African Language Board. So we are very pleased to have a very diverse range of speakers presenting various colloquium. And what we would like to get out of the conference is a clear roadmap that shows where the areas are in terms of indigenous languages, where some of the obstacles are in terms of where the African continent and the diaspora needs to move, and what the areas are that we need to give focus on, because we also recognize that some of our indigenous languages are on a significant decline, and we would like to restore and ensure that there's equitability with all of our languages. And I always maintain also that core to our language and the preservation thereof is economic and social development that comes with that. And that forms the basis of social cohesion and ensuring we can leave a legacy for our future.
Lance, you say that some of our languages are on a significant decline. What exactly do you mean by that?
What we have found is that a number of the dialects and a number of the languages seem to be in a decline purely because of the access to the resource material, that we entrench it in terms of mother tongue being promoted in our tertiary and our secondary education system, and ensuring that we've got the necessary lexicons developed to preserve that. So for us, one of the languages in particular is Mu. We've got one last remaining speaker, and what we are trying to do is to ensure that we put all of that into an electronic dictionary that would be available and preserved. Some of the children are versant in it, but we would like to ensure that we also encourage other people in the community associated with that to not only have access to that material that would be provided, but that we provide a platform for that language to further grow and strengthen. So equitability for languages, particularly those on decline, is something that we as the Pan-South African Language Board is paying particular attention to.
And what are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing? I mean, you speak of preserving indigenous languages such as Mu, but on the other hand, you also speak about the different dialects. And when it comes to dialects, I suppose it's dependent on the area that you're from. How will you ensure that you continue to preserve the basis, the mother language, without having it diluted by the many dialects in the different areas?
I think the first is to ensure that we create the opportunity for the various stakeholders that are involved in the language formation, as well as the lexicon that is associated with it. In that respect, we've partnered with and created a number of linkages. We've got the language units. These language units participate with various university structures. These structures are involved with those specific dialects to ensure that we firstly have the dictionaries to support the preserving that language in the written form. Secondly, that we create platforms and avenues of expression, and that comes through involving them in communities. What we are seeing is that the English language is taking significant prominence purely because of the ease and the practicability thereof. What we would like to encourage is that we at least have mother tongue as secondary in a number of the events, a number of the functions that we have, and in so doing also get the schooling systems behind it so that they can support teaching within mother tongue.
With the English language, very quickly before we let you go, taking prominence, I mean, it's quite evident if you look at many households in South Africa. How then can ordinary people in their homes try and ensure that the mother tongue is one that is continuously spoken and learnt within the household, and instilling that sense of pride within their children?
I think it's a core function also of heritage, where we are seeing communities are becoming very active, and we're quite pleased to see the Khoi, the San, the Nama communities are starting to say that they would like to see a greater participation of their language. So I think that where we encourage this is with families in their very homes, because that forms the basis of where language is taught, where language is understood, and that basis of communication is then done. Secondly, is to avoid any form of prejudice against these languages, because there seems to be a pervasive view that some of the languages gives a better access to education, a better access to advancing oneself. So the Pan-South African Language Board have got a number of events, a number of engagements that takes place within these communities, and we will of course continue to foster and ensure that we set the basis to grow that language paradigms that exists.
Very well, Lance. Thank you so much for your time. Lance Schultz, the CEO of PanSalb, really speaking to us there about a conference that's set to get underway, of course, to ensure the greater and the bigger conversation around preserving languages in South Africa.